Matt Murdock, the blind lawyer by day and vigilante by night. He is no stranger to corruption, moral compromise, and things so much like that. He's a character that was born and raised in Hell's Kitchen and has spent years fighting mob bosses, corrupt politicians, and killers who think that they own the streets. His life is a balancing act between faith and fear and fury. He is a man driven by the Catholic guilt and unshakable hope that he has for betterness in his home parts of where he's grown up. But if the Hell's Kitchen Daredevil was to seemingly find himself somewhere else into a city that tests the very resolve that you have, how would he do? And that city specifically being Gotham. A city that basically just devours your soul. Gotham isn't just violent. It's basically just cursed, if we're gonna be completely honest. Every shadow hides a story, every criminal wears a mask, and every victory comes with a price. Obviously, some of that is just more figuratively than literal, but you get what I mean. This is a place where hope dies young, and justice has very sharp teeth. Daredevil has used so many different things, and he's gotten used to so many different things to deal with fighting the monsters in human form. But Gotham has monsters that have layers, networks, and sometimes entire cults behind them. So the question isn't, could Daredevil survive here? Is who would he become if he had to be in this kind of environment? And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of similarities between Hell Kitchen and Gotham in each respective universes, but Gotham is just a lot more crooked than you would ever think comparatively to something like Hell's Kitchen. But with that, let's talk about that city itself. Gotham is more than just architecture and crime. It's basically honestly alive. It is the kind of place that whispers in your ear, tempting you to give up, sink into madness, get all of the things that you once thought you should be able to do, just forget about them all. Corruption seeps into everything, from City Hall to the corner bodega. It does not matter. Police are a half-brought, just basically half-bought entire organization. The government is compromised, and the people have basically stopped believing in salvation. They've gotten used to the chaos that automatically just zooms in through this entire hellscape of a city. Daredevil's radar sense might help him navigate the dark alleys, but it's not going to be able to help him see the kind of psychological weight that Gotham drops its heroes into and they have to deal with so often. But still, honestly, in a strange way, Gotham might empower him. Daredevil thrives where law fails. His senses make him a literal ghost in the night, hearing the heartbeat of a liar in the courthouse, the crimes of a victim blocks away, or just the whispers of crime before it strikes. He's a character that doesn't need tech or an empire like Batman to help him get through everything, which that's not a dig on Batman, that's just a fact. And his willpower and faith alone usually will be good enough to get him going. And in Gotham's gothic chaos, that might just make him even more terrifying than the Bat himself. Because my main thing that I've always told me and all of my other friends that when we talk about anything like Daredevil or Batman in general in the same kind of conversation is the singular fact that it would have made a lot more sense for Daredevil to be called Batman due to his specific set of abilities, and Batman being called Daredevil just because, kind of would have made sense for their names to switch, but obviously that's not how it worked, but that's neither here or there. But yeah, continuing on, when it comes to fighting the crimes in the Gotham's underworld, Daredevil would honestly dominate street level battles, because these are the things like thugs, mobsters, and crooked cops, which is basically just his natural environment. And if specifically we're having a situation where, like how I have anytime I do a video like this, taking the Bat family out of the equation in general, just to not have them deal with anything like that and just not have them be in the fray just due to the fact that if we're going to have him survive or give him the chance to survive, I don't need him having any other backup just because that could not make this as honest as it possibly could be. So we'll just use that same scenario and make sure that you guys know that up front. But yeah, back to what I was saying. thugs, mobsters, crooked cops, that's nothing he's not used to. He'd dismantle the Falcone family probably in weeks, as him dealing with things like this, specifically when he has to deal with Wilson Fisk on a daily occasion, he's going to be getting very used to dealing with things like that. Black masks and all of his smuggling operations would probably be dealt with fairly quickly, because when it comes to how he handles his crime, he's basically just Batman, but at least he has the legal side on hand. So if he is in Gotham and we just have him still have his law degree and everything else like that, he can do his work as Daredevil in the nighttime to lob up and set up all of his cases for the thugs and everything else during the daytime. So he could easily actively be the best lawyer in Gotham just by doing this and kind of setting everything up perfectly for him. And it just honestly would make everybody's lives miserable, specifically those corrupt politicians. But Gotham's real challenge obviously isn't the mob and all of these specific things. It would be more so the rogues. And just kind of going straight in there, we can honestly just start by talking with the Joker, which would be his worst nightmare. The Joker's heightened senses would make him painfully vulnerable to the toxins and chemicals, meaning one dose of Joker gas or laughing toxin could drop him instantly. Scarecrow's fear toxin, yeah, would hit Matt probably harder than anybody else, because yes, he might not be getting those visual hallucinations, but that hearing and everything else like that would still be giving a full-on actual emotional breakdown between Matt, and living and reliving every death that he's ever had to deal with. Elektra, Karen Page, depending on whatever specific thing, Foggy, depending on whatever thing that we're talking about, his father specifically, all amplified by the toxin. He would literally be breaking down. He has fought literal demons before, but Gotham's psychological warfare would definitely cut extremely deep. And even if it's like Shadowland Daredevil, which obviously is one of my favorite Daredevils, even specifically if we're just talking about Marvel Rivals in general, but yeah, let's not try getting too sidetracked, because I know I very well can. But yeah, a lot of Gotham's villains and criminals would be very interesting to actively deal with, specifically on that end, just due to how he would very much just be the exact same kind of person as Batman specifically, just due to the fact that they have very similar styles in terms of how they deal with all of their villains, in terms of, oh, not killing anybody, not doing this, not doing that, just basically brutally beating them to just an inch of their life, which we gotta love. They're basically kind of the same character, so we'll at least give it to them. And then there's other villains like Bane, who's a tactician who could very much physically outpower him, but as I said, this is still kind of Batman-esque scenario, and the big difference is Fisk is kind of an equivalent to somebody like Bane, just due to the fact that Fisk is abnormally strong for no reason. He might not be Bane levels, but we don't really know that for a fact, because they're not in the same universe, so we can't really be completely sure. The Riddler, whose games of logic and whatever would test Matt's patience, this isn't a kind of Batman scenario just due to the fact that he's not as smart as Bruce. So Riddler would be a very big nuisance just because he's not going to be able to figure out all of the riddles as quickly as somebody like Bruce would. And I'm going to make some of y'all laugh when I say this, but I don't see him really going after Poison Ivy as much. Yes, he's going to go after her when she's actively doing a lot of chaos, but I see a very good chance of him maybe possibly laying pipe, and I've just got to say that clearly. We've seen Matt's entire roster of women that he can basically able to pull, and I don't see a very good possibility where he doesn't end up having a way to basically seduce Poison Ivy, so that is a very good possibility in my head. Who honestly I could see her specifically manipulating him emotionally through empathy or illusion, or literally just him seducing her in general. But obviously, despite all of that, villains like Penguin, Hush, Black Mask, or whatever would find themselves dismantled by his combination of intellect, combat skill, relentless drive, and his law degree. And he's taken down things like the Hand, Kingpin, and everything else like that. So any of the crime lords and people like that would basically just get swept under the rug fairly quickly. Now, even though I specifically said that he wouldn't really have to deal with the Bat family in general. That was mainly more so when it comes to him dealing with the villains, because him dealing with the villains is a very much different thing from him just being in Gotham in general. So, in a situation where the Bat family are involved, this could honestly be a very interesting thing. And I only say that specifically due to the fact of the main thing of, him interacting with the Bat family, and I just wanted to mainly put this in this video just for the sheer reason of it would be a very interesting interactions between them all, because it is a very big wild card in terms of how he would interact with them, because the Bat family doesn't really take too kindly to outsiders, especially ones who share their methods. Nightwing would respect him, seeing a fellow acrobat with a moral compass, and I see a very good rivalry between these two. I also got a video planned just talking about how I think a battle between those two would go. So if you guys want that, please put that down in the comment section below, and I will make that as soon as I can. Red Hood, I see him being a challenging towards him, being just probably being more challenging between them and having a more Punisher and Daredevil-esque relationship, just to test if a devil can bleed or whatever. Batgirl would likely admire his tenacity but question his emotional control. And then Batman, I think he would be more conflicted. On one hand, he'd see Daredevil have the same obsession and discipline in his values, but on the other hand, he would see a man ruled by guilt and faith, the two things that Bruce has buried a long, long ago. I see him working very well with the Bat family as a whole. They'd work together, but never completely comfortably, specifically when it comes to the way that Batman acts from fear and order, while Daredevil acts from hope and chaos. He still believes in redemption, but Gotham really doesn't. It is a clash of ideology that could lead him down one of the most fascinating partnerships or rivalries in comic history. Meanwhile, anti-heroes like the Huntress, Catwoman, might feel drawn to him. Obviously, Bruce has been able to bag Catwoman. Huntress is either his daughter or something else, depending on the continuity. We don't really want to talk about that right now, but Matt as a player, he is very good at getting ladies, so I see a possibility of him being able to bag either one or both of these ladies, because he's just built like that. They'd see somebody actually trying to balance justice and compassion in a world that has lost basically both. Gotham tests morality, and Matt's unwavering sense of right and wrong could either inspire others or paint a massive target on his back. But still, the one thing that you gotta know about Gotham, it is very good at breaking people. The consistent violence, moral ambiguity, and the desperate growth on gnawing itself apart would basically just gnaw at Matt's faith. He is already a man burdened with guilt, and Gotham would very much try to amplify that tenfold. The line between vengeance and justice would blur. The biggest question of him being in Gotham isn't even whether he could survive, as I've already said. It's whether he would stay the hopeful defender of the innocent, or if he would slide into the same darkness that consumes Gotham's heroes. Because that is the one thing that Gotham is very good at doing. Testing that limit of one bad day, making it enough for any man to go mad. Joker loves saying this about Bruce, but this is also very true about somebody like Matt. So he would very much have to hold himself together, and there is a real chance that Gotham would transform him something into closer to the Red Hood or something like that, more brutal, more unhinged, but there's also a chance that he'd change Gotham. Daredevil's moral code, his Catholic faith, and his belief that even the damned can be redeemed might bring a little more light to the city built on darkness, and it would actively maybe even inspire Batman in some kind of way, and Daredevil could just basically inspire courage in a very big sense across a lot more people, specifically on his actual regular person side, because we have people like Harvey Dent, which would be the most interesting person that I see him interacting with, just due to the fact of if he is in Gotham for a long, long period of time, specifically before Harvey goes down that path, I see them being very good friends prior to Harvey becoming Two-Face, and then after, him and Harvey having a very weird relationship. It's kind of the same way that Harvey has with Bruce in almost any kind of canon, where him and Bruce were extremely close friends, specifically even in the Batman animated show from a while back, where Harvey literally is going back to Arkham, but he's literally saying that Bruce Wayne, he's never forgotten about me. He's always been there for me, and he's always looked after me. He's a true friend, something along those lines. It might be not exactly word for word, but I'd see them having a relationship like that, which I truly would just enjoy to kind of see. But besides that, back to the question at hand, could he survive Gotham? That honestly, I see without a doubt he'd probably survive just due to the fact that he is very similar to Batman in terms of skills and abilities and capabilities. It might not be in terms of like intelligence and detective skills, but he has other things working for him that kind of counteract that. But most definitely he's not surviving without any scars. He's fought people like Kingpin, Bullseye, The Hand, and even Mephisto himself. He's been beaten, he's already blind, he's been crucified, resurrected, and every time he gets back up. So Gotham wouldn't kill him, but there is a very good chance that it would change him. The city feeds on pain itself, and that obsession and all those things that make somebody who they are is something that Daredevil would have one in spades, but also have to give up parts of in a city like this. Over time, he'd either become Gotham's guardian angel or its newest demon. Still, if anybody could walk that tightrope and come through to the other side, it is Matt Murdock. His resilience isn't powered by gadgets or wealth, as I'm going to keep saying, just for the fun of it. It is powered by faith, and that's something Gotham can't really corrupt that easily. Because at the end of the day, Daredevil is not somebody that I see not surviving in a situation like this. He might redefine it. His presence would shake up the entirety of the criminal ecosystem, challenge Batman's approach, and bring a sense of hope into Gotham that it hasn't felt in decades. He'd come out a changed man, yes, maybe darker, maybe wiser, but he'd still be standing, because that's what Daredevil does. He falls, he bleeds, he breaks, but he always gets back up. And in a city like Gotham, that kind of faith might be exactly what they need. So, what do you think? If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for more videos like this. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I will be probably posting a little more often than I intended it to, so that's gonna be good for you. Maybe not good for my mental, but we'll be fine. Let's just continue it on and keep it pushing. With all that said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.